Let me tell you something you don't see every day: a judge trying to strip a Medal of Honor off a black female general, right in front of packed courtroom, figuring he could break her down with a little public humiliation and old-school power play. Like Justice was still wearing a powdered wig. Yeah, that happened. And what Judge William Bowers didn't know was that Naomi Carter didn't come to bow. She came to blow the lid off the whole dirty system he'd been running for years. And what looked like a moment of defeat? That was just a fuse being lit. Now, I was there that morning in Millstone County Courthouse, nerves jangling, folks shifting in their seats, pretending not to stare, and the minute the doors creaked open 9:02 a.m. On the dot, every head snapped around. In walked General Naomi Carter, uniform pressed razor sharp, medals shining, presence like she'd marched straight out of a legend and wasn't about to take orders from anybody. Most didn't recognize the Medal of Honor at first. Some did, and you could see their faces change because that medal doesn't show up in a place like this unless someone means business. And let me tell you, Naomi was business. She wasn't there for herself, she was there for Maya Roberts, the widow of a 19-year-old private, Darnell Roberts, who died saving 8 others in Kandahar, but got his benefits denied on a technicality after collapsing at home. Like dying on your own porch doesn't count. Maya was shaking the front row, barely holding it together, until Naomi slid in and sat down beside her, nodding once. No words, just presence. Judge Bowers looked up, all silver hair and thin lips, trying for that old Southern gentility, but missing by a mile. He scanned his notes, saw Naomi's name. Carter, Your Honor. He couldn't ignore the medal, tried to act like it was an offense. Not an honor, told her flat out. This is a court of law, not a parade ground. Remove the medal or be removed. That's when the temperature in the room changed. Delgado, the bailiff, ex-military himself, everyone could tell, shifted his stance, eyes flicking between judge and general, waiting to see who'd flinch first. Maya grabbed Naomi's sleeve, pleading with her under her breath. Please, just take it off. I can't lose you too. But Naomi wasn't going anywhere. You could feel the power in the room wasn't coming from the bench, but from a woman in uniform who stood for every soldier, every widow, every name that got filed away and forgotten. Judge Bowers kept pushing, but Naomi stood her ground, steady voice. With respect, sir, the medal stays, so do I. That was it, no theatrics, just a line in the sand. Bowers threatened contempt, called on Delgado to do the dirty work, but Delgado hesitated. With all due respect, Your Honor, this doesn't feel like justice. It was like someone cracked the window on a sealed room. An old veteran in the gallery whispered, Let her speak. And another woman added, She earned that medal. You didn't. The judge was losing control, banging his gavel for order that wasn't coming. Finally, Judge Bowers gave the order to remove her. Delgado stepped forward, but even then, you could see he was torn. Ma'am, please don't make me be the one to do this. Naomi turned, just a fraction, looked him dead in the eye, and said, The only uniform I ever feared was the one that looked away from injustice. That hit him hard. You could see it, and right then Maya pleaded again, You've already done enough. Please sit down. Don't do this. Naomi's answer? And let the next widow stand here alone? That wasn't a question, it was a challenge. Bowers, red-faced and rattled, barked, Arrest her now. Delgado clicked the cuffs on, careful, gentle, like he was closing a book, not locking up a criminal. And one by one, people stood, not in protest, not in outrage, just in witness. The silence said more than any words. Naomi didn't look back. She didn't need to. The room was already on her side. They put Naomi in a holding room, no bars, just pale green walls and a camera blinking like an afterthought, but she was ready. Hidden in her uniform, a microphone blinked to life, and with one quiet line, Start extraction. Send it to Holloway. All of it. The whole show went to Gerald Holloway, a civil rights lawyer with more backbone than friends. Across town, the footage landed in the hands of David Chun, a journalist whose mother, Evelyn Chun, had once been a judge herself, forced out for refusing to play by the old rules. By the end of the day, the video was everywhere. 2 million views, and the phone lines buzzing with veterans, widows, retired judges, high school kids who made We Stand with Carter posters. Maya sat in that holding room, hands shaking, voice raw. Why you? Why this fight? Naomi, steady as always, because when you're the last one willing to stand, sometimes that's all it takes. And just when it felt like the world was closing in, Amanda Foster from the Department of Justice strode into the courthouse, badge flashing real federal muscle, not just for show. This courtroom is under independent oversight, pending investigation into judicial misconduct and racial bias. Dead silence. Bowers tried to bluff his way out, but Naomi had receipts hit play on a recorder, and the whole room heard Bowers' voice sneering, "Medals don't make them worthy, they hand those out like candy now." Especially to women, the word he mumbled at the end didn't have to be clear everyone got the message. That was the moment the courtroom shifted. Evelyn Chun stood, voice like a bell. Justice cannot exist where power demands silence. Holloway dropped 87 pages of case files on the clerk's desk. 28 black veterans denied benefits, all tied to this bench. The state's own lawyer stood up, walked out. Delgado, the bailiff, unclipped his badge, laid it down. Maya stood and read the last letter her husband wrote from Afghanistan. "If I don't return, she speaks for me." The whole gallery whispered, "She's not alone." Amanda Foster stepped forward. "Your Honor, you are hereby suspended, effective immediately." Delgado unlocked Naomi's cuffs, head bowed, not in shame but in respect. Naomi didn't smile, she just looked around, hands together, wrists still marked red, then stepped forward. "You didn't fall today, Judge," she said. "You collapsed years ago when you stopped seeing service and only saw skin." No one interrupted. Not a soul. Outside, the world was waiting, and inside, something sacred had finally been restored. In the days that followed, Naomi's name went to the Senate Floor Deputy Secretary of Veterans Affairs, confirmed without a fight. 17 judges came under investigation. 143 veteran cases were reopened. And in a quiet elementary school auditorium, Delgado brought his daughter to meet Naomi. "You're the brave lady who didn't move," the little girl said. Naomi knelt down. "I didn't move because one day someone like you would need to." Evelyn Chun started the National Institute for Judicial Accountability. Maya helped launch a fund for military families. The system didn't fix itself, people did. And in the end, it wasn't just about medals or titles, it was about refusing to leave when they tried to drag you out in cuffs. Naomi Carter didn't win because the rules changed, she won because she didn't. And that, my friends, is what they'll remember long after the cameras are gone. So, tell me, what would you have done in that courtroom? Do we still believe justice can stand up to power? Or is it all just for show? Drop your thoughts below. Let's see who's willing to stand and who's still looking away.